Hi, I'm Marina Monter. I'm the founder of the GBTH, and I'm back here on another tutorial. I know it's been a minute, but I'm here to talk about the fifth and last round of the GBTH Rachel Breaker Collective 3D exhibition. If you want to know more about this exhibit and then this proposal as a whole, there's more info about it, in the description of the video. I'll just get to it. Ideally, this video is going to be short and just straightforward to, clarify any kind of questions and doubts and anything else related to this proposal. So for this fifth and last round, we are proposing a theme, which is answering the question, how are you now that it's over? Which essentially is, if I had to break this down into a little bit more details, we're asking the participant to materialize an emotion into a figurine. So they're going to materialize this emotion through assembling and texturing the mesh parts. If it seems intimidating for you, don't fear, because we are fully aware it's more complex than what we usually do, and that's why this round we are hosting a workshop, but I'll get into this in a bit. Okay, so without much further ado, let's get into it. The kit this time is a little bit more complex. We have, if I'm not mistaken, over 90 different mesh pieces. This is the kit, our nice and trustworthy box. So each participant receives this box. It's going to be no copy as usual. Like, all the mesh parts are no copy, all the textures are full perm. And you're gonna rest somewhere. Make sure you are in a location where you have res rights, because if you res a no copy item, you're gonna have some trouble. It's gonna return to your inventory and probably have to relog. So just make sure of that. And then you res and right click open, and it's gonna give you all of these contents, and you're gonna copy to inventory. And inside the box, you're gonna see more boxes, each one with a proper name. You're gonna see guidelines. This time we're hosting the guidelines at the GBTH website, just because they're more complex. And I also added a little landmark to the GBTH scene, just in case you feel like visiting or sharing with your friends. Okay, so how I would personally approach the kit. So you see we have these 7 boxes here, and all of these boxes have these distinct names on them. And what I'm gonna do now is just res. If you ever participated of this exhibition before, you will identify in body parts as the figurines from previous rounds. And that's exactly what these are. But I kind of dismember, because the idea of this fifth round is really to create kind of like your own Frankenstein. Just think of these pieces as individual pieces instead of being the pre-made, assemble that Rachel did. So if you zoom on them, you're gonna see that the box has the whole visual aid. So these are the arms, and each arm is, identify arm 1A, 1B, and even what is hands, I'm just calling arm because it's this section. Then you have the same for bottoms. Have 4 different types of bottoms. You have extra parts that I really couldn't classify as anything else. We have full bodies, or, what it felt like classifying those as such. We have heads, and I'm not gonna lie, I love these heads. We have also legs and torsos. Doesn't mean that you have to use them as such. You are highly encouraged to just break the form and just use them as whatever I just needed to call them. Something like this to, identify. So you have all the kits rest, you have this visual aid, which is very important, but then, all the boxes rest. And then you're gonna right click a box and you're gonna open it. And that's where the fun part starts. Again, the object, the items, the yellow cubes you see on the screen here, they're gonna be no copy, but the textures are gonna be full perm. So anyway, you open one and you copy to inventory. I kind of recommend opening all of them. Again, I think here it kind of shows how easier it is to first res the boxes and use those as your guide, for the parts that you want. So for instance, I want the arm 3A and B, and you're gonna identify this in the folder. Once you put everything in a folder, in a box, and you open as a folder, it kind of puts in alphabetical and numerical order for you, so it should make it easier. So just simply grab and res, again, be mindful that the place you're going to be, that you have, Rezzing rights for. And look, it's coming to life. What you're going to do after you razz your arm is you're going to open the texture with this little icon here, and you're going to you see this little save button. You can save either as TJ or PNG in your computer. That's 100% up to you. So right now, I'm just going to real quick put together figurines so we can go to the next step. One of the very few rules that I have is to not resize your figurine. Don't do any of that like, oh my God, but I want to make bigger. No, keep at the right size. We need some kind of consistency if we're going to have this many pieces, but trust the process. I think it's going to be fun. Wait. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect, honestly. This is just how you would go about using the kit and this stuff. It doesn't have to be perfect. Honestly, I like the imperfection of things, how, this stuff naturally overlays here. There you go. So we have our first franking figurine. The next step, and I'm going to be honest with you, I'm someone that loves method, and for something like this, I do suggest first putting together your figurine and then moving on to texturing it. Once you have that ready, we're going to save the textures corresponding to each. For the arms, we use the arm tree. So you're going to double click. And I'm going to save as PNG just because, I don't know, I always save it as PNG, but when I'm uploading as JPEG. So we're moving on to the rest of it. And if you don't feel like checking all the time in this box, you can always check the item, because it's going to be named properly for this point. So it's torso number 4, and then you identify the torso number 4 texture here, and then same thing, save as PNG. And then let's go for the other part, which is Photoshop. Okay, so I open Photoshop and I open all the 4 textures here. So you have the arm, you have the bottom, you have the leg, and a little bit of leg as well, and you have the torso. They are essentially like blank bases. There's a little bit of tinting here, but we don't have to be precious about it. I just want to show the basics on how I normally go about this. So let's say I want to make a little drawing. So let's take a brush, let's channel our inner Bob Ross, and then you can you can paint like a thingy. Oh gosh, this is turning beautiful. I'll be honest with you, my figurines are always the ugliest, but this is for the tutorial. So kind of like just paint around. What I usually do is go on the blending mode and use multiply, and it kind of like sits better. This is the most basic kind of edit. Second Life has a really cool trick, because you're working here and you would love to see how it looks on the 3D, right? So you're going to do the following. You're going to save as a copy. I'm just going to save over it. So the arm, just saving over. You can save as a new file as well to keep that as a backup, or you can grab again for the kit. It's 100% up to you. And then you open here in SL. And that's the cool trick, because if you haven't used local textures before, now it's your time. So we open here the texture, and you go to local. You press add. Okay, just wait for it to load. It's fine. There you go. Oh, it's saved as PNG, but it's... And you can see how it looks in world. The catch is only you can see it. So this is for the moment that you're just playing around with the UV and stuff like this. So like, oh, I don't know if I like this. Maybe I want to try a different color. And you can come here. And then we can also put multiply, or you can put color. I still prefer multiply. Color looks too crazy. I mean, you're just going to play around and see what works for you. Oopsie. Oh God. Okay, let's do this. This is fine. You save a copy again, and you save on top of that first one you saved. Okay, and without changing anything here, ta-da! It just loads itself automatically, and you can like see the progress. And once you're happy with the result, let's pretend that this is the result that I like. This is the final version. You're gonna come to build, upload, image. You can click here. And you're gonna find it in your textures. I would rename. You can even keep like the R, but I'm gonna put my name. Once you're happy, you have to remember to switch the texture from local to the final one you uploaded. So you come to local. I prefer to remove and see it turns gray, and that's how everyone else is going to be seeing. And then you just come here and drag and add this to the texture thing. And now everyone is going to see your final texture. Okay, so I did this very beautiful tri texture and I already uploaded. So everything, it's also why we do give a reasonable time frame for you to work on your figurine account. We are fully aware there's stuff like real life that gets in the way. You know, sometimes there's a creative block. And I always believe that the work needs time to breathe. So, you know, you do a little bit and then you take a break and you come back the next day and you see something that you don't like. So this is nothing but a test, really. But let's suppose this test is my final figurine. And now to prepare the figurine to send back to me, you're going to link all the pieces. Please just don't add any extra mesh parts for this round. We're just asking you to use the parts that we provide. So you link your figurine and then you're going to rename your figurine on this. I'm just going to call this figurine by Marina. And you're going to create a full form prim by you. It's press here, create a prim. My default texture is the GBTH logo, but yours can be blank or whatever. Make sure to res your prim and have the next owner can copy, modify, and transfer. That's very important. It doesn't hurt to rename, but in a full form prim, and you're gonna take it with you. And then I think I'm gonna make a folder actually. It's easier to do. So what you can do, create folder from selection. It does help if you put the name of your figurine and your name and the folder name. Make sure that all the textures are full perm. Also, gonna go in properties, next owner check, modify, copy, and transfer. Gonna do this for all of them. Cool. And you're gonna open the objects and you're gonna put the full perm prim on it. And you're gonna also take the test figurine that you did. Gonna probably come in the folder of the last part you did, and you're gonna put here. And then you send it to me. If you prefer, you can make a note card. So you can put the title, exactly how you want it to be. Make sure to have, if you have a super long title, it's not gonna fit in the object description. So just please keep that in mind. Artist, name. I know some people have different display names or they keep changing their usernames. So just let us know how you want to be called, and sometimes with the special characters, for instance, and then you can put your username like that, and then you save. Also, tell me any kind of observations you might have regarding your figurine. But that's it. You got it all done. Full perm print, full perm textures, and then you're gonna open my IM and just say, hey Marina, you're around, can I send you my figurine? I'm online most of the time, even if I'm AFK, so it's quite easy to reach out to me. If you're still here with me, thank you so much. As I've mentioned in the beginning of this video, we are going to have a workshop, so make sure to join the GBTH group and, get in touch with us so we can give you more details as they come. The whole idea of this workshop is actually creating together and breaking down the process and helping to think conceptually. This time we have 2 collaborators working with us to structure this whole workshop. It is the first time we're doing this, so it might not be perfect, but the idea is to have fun in the process. As I said before, also everyone is welcome to participate and, be part of this really, really cool project, because this is really the last time we're doing the GBTH Rachel Breaker. Thank you so much, and I'll see you soon, I hope.